Ooh, we all float. We all float. Hi, I'm Clowny Quin, and today I want to talk about Stephen King's It. Now you're probably thinking, hello, Quinn, didn't you already do this? I mean, you talked about the miniseries and you talked about the new one. What could you possibly mean when you want to talk about it? To which I have to say, I read the book and I want to talk about it. So, I'm not gonna lie, I avoided this book for one reason, and one reason only. I was really creeped out by hearing about the sex. and I don't mean that in a mean way, because I know that, like, you know, I was a youngin' once, and that's a thing that happens. But the thing is, I didn't really hear about the book until I was an adult. So I don't know, I just felt like it was something that I didn't really want to read, and whatever. So, like, I don't know, I just didn't, that's all anybody ever talked about, and I'm just like, okay. And I like Stephen King. I like his other books. I read a lot of his books, and a lot of it, there is some, like, weird, uncomfortable, you know, sex things, and so I just didn't want to read it. So, a YouTuber, actually, Comic Book Girl 19, who is fun, she talked about it, and I was like, okay, you know, I guess maybe this doesn't seem like it'll be so bad after all. Like, it seems more like reclaiming one's sexuality and you know, accepting this and I was just like, okay, I was like, I'll give it a shot, whatever. So I read the book, and you know, it was really good. I really liked how it was a mix of the, you know, adults and flashbacks with the kids. It was done really well. It was, you know, they did a better job of making it more accurate in the miniseries than the new one, because, you know, they've kind of reimagined the new one and stuff like that. You know, lots of fucked up stuff happens to these, you know, these kids, and they, you know, have to deal with it, and it talks about how, like, their lives are after they've dealt with it, and I thought it was really interesting because they do forget everything, like, as adults, and they forget, and they don't even remember each other, really, until Mike calls, because, you know, he's got to bring everybody back because Pennywise is back and killing people and eating people, and so they have to go back, and they have to defeat him. And I like clowns. I'm a clown myself. I didn't really think any of the stuff with Pennywise was actually scary. So people are just like, oh, it's so scary, the book is scarier. Ah! That's just not a thing that scares me. I mean, there's weird stuff that scares me, but that's not one of them. So I didn't really get, like, but it was still really, really good. Like, there were parts that did scare me. Like, for example, the part that really that sat with me the most was once the Pennywise is defeated and they're, you know, gonna go live their lives again, and they don't want to forget each other. But because they're out of Derry, they start to forget. And even Mike, who has remembered everything the whole time, and he's kept a log, and he's, you know, written everything down, like, he looks over his old journals and he notices that it's disappearing. His writing is disappearing, and his memories of his friends are disappearing because they finally made it go away. And that was really, I don't know, to me that touched me a lot more than it, you know, made me really sad. And it was scary. Like, when I read that, I remember I got goosebumps. You know, the whole reason why I didn't read the book, with that scene that everybody always talks about, I didn't really think it was, I thought it was really tastefully done. I was kind of impressed because it's Stephen King. And some of his other scenes are pretty fucked up, but I don't know, I didn't really think it was that, you know, it wasn't really that racy, but it wasn't like, it was I don't know, like, I thought there was some heart in it, I guess. I've talked to other friends about it, and, they're just like, oh, well, it's kind of like the kids felt like they needed to do this so they could be adults, and that's like the one adult thing that everybody does. And I'm like, all right, that's an interesting way to look at it, I guess. And they wanted to cast off the whole, like, sacrificing the virgin kind of thing, because it is a monster movie, and that's kind of how it goes. And I was like, well, that's an monster story, and it's an interesting way to look at it, I guess. So yeah, Stephen King's It. I think it took me about a month to read it. I usually read about 3 books at a time, so it took me a little bit longer, because it's a long-ass book. I really liked it, though. Like, even though, the parts that scared most people didn't scare me, because I'm a big, tough clown. I still really enjoyed it, though. I'll read it again at some point, I imagine. Also, let's see, what else? Are there any other clown books that you like? Because I think I might talk about some other clown books that I enjoy, and some short stories. There's some of them out there that I'd like to talk about. So, alright, if there's any, let me know in the comments. Also, did you read this book? What did you think of it? Did you think that, did you think it was as, like, big a deal? I am still excited for part 2 of the new movie, so we'll see how that goes. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it in a couple years. Bye!